Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, and I'm so excited today because I get to have my favorite guest right here on today's show. And before we bring him on here, I'd like to ask everyone out there to please make sure to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, as you know, Nathan Nowak, he's a frequent regular guest here on GoTarryn TV, the king of programs. He's with Trinity Fitness, and he's also going to be here today to talk to us about gut health and how to prevent things like brain fog and weight gain and joint pain, inflammation, all of that that's interconnected, not only in our gut, but also in our mind. And that's what he's going to help us with, sharpening our mind, improving our gut, and overall just living healthier and being in better shape. And that is what he is best at. And he's going to tell you all about it here momentarily. Again, the founder of Trinity Fitness, Mr. Nathan J. Nowak, right here on GoTarryn TV. Can't wait for him to come on. And before he does, I'd like to also remind everyone out there that GoTarryn Health and Fitness is your time, your investment, and your life. We'll be right back.
I'm good. How are you, man?
Good, thanks. So great to catch up with you and see everything's going on. So I know it's been about a couple months. I just wanted to first check in and ask how you and Stephanie and how everybody's doing out there.
Steph and I are doing good. I think last time, it was only been a couple months. So yeah, we have Charlie. He just turned 1-year-old German Shepherd.
Wow.
So we have a kid in the house, and he's acting just like just like a toddler. So he's a lot of fun. Keeps me very, very active.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Oh, wow. And I imagine y'all take him out a lot and go for a lot of walks and runs and stuff. Yeah,
first thing in the morning, 3-mile run.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, it's a run walk, but he's got to go. So, and then at lunchtime, we do what we call brain games. Because we've got to stimulate his brain. And then because he's, Belgian Malinois are worse than German Shepherds, but they're working dogs. They have to be worked, otherwise they get into trouble. Or, get into mischief and stuff, start tearing things up because they have to do stuff. So what we do is one of the brain games we're using right now is we'll take boxes and then we'll put the boxes all over the living room, put him in his crate and make him sit. And then we put the boxes out. Some of them have treats in them. Some of them don't. Open up the gate and then say search. And then he goes to each box and tries to find the treats in the box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the one he likes to do the most. And it's funny because he'll get tired on our runs. 3-mile run, he'll get tired, or 1.5 miles, whatever we're doing.
Wow.
But after about an hour and a half, he's up and he's ready to go again. After you do the brain games with him, that dude will be out for 3 or 4 hours. So it's stimulating the brain versus the physical. The physical, those dogs can just keep going and going and going, but it's the mind that that would make them tired. So you teach them something and then let them recover. And then at night we go for a mile and a half walk. And then he's intermittently, we take him out throughout the day, but those are his 3 big training sessions. So
that's
a lot
interesting.
Of fun. Yeah.
No, that's great. I think that's important. Just like humans too, to some extent, right? We could benefit from such mindful health, I would imagine.
Yeah. I'm kind of leading into that, which was kind of funny. I've been really working on that. That's some of the stuff I've been working on lately is, you and I have talked about in the past about the gut and the brain connection. Most people, if you're depressed, if you don't feel good, it's usually something caused in the gut. But most people go and they buy prescription drugs that only mess with your brain. Yeah. And if you can fix the gut, then usually you can fix the brain. So lately I've really been working on, nutrition. One, to cleanse the gut and the digestive system. But the other thing is to really use nutrients, use foods that will help stimulate the brain, keep the brain younger. Because there's so much technology, so much work has gone into and science has gone into Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's not what they used to think. They thought that you had just a certain amount of brain cells, and if you killed them or they died, then you didn't get any more. But that's not true. You can constantly keep, building brain cells, but you have to give the body the right nutrients to do that. Plus, if you take one thing away from us talking today, is hydration. The brain sits in a floating cavity and it needs lots of water. But if you are dehydrated, your brain is your body is going to take water from your brain and use it in other places. And that is, dehydration over the time throughout the body can manipulate cells and transform them into cancerous cells. But if you do that over time in the brain, year after year after year, then that's what can cause dementia. That's what can speed up the aging of the brain, give you brain fog, make you not feel so good, can't remember stuff, and then start getting dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. So if you really want to take care of your health, and one of the easiest things to do, one is to sit in a crate and go search boxes for treats. No, just kidding. But the one thing to do is to make sure that you're drinking at least a gallon of water a day and staying hydrated, especially in the hotter months. Drinking at least a gallon, but a gallon and a half.
Wow.
Your body will let you know. But usually, if you feel like you need to drink, then you're already past the point of dehydration.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and a lot of people, I'm sure you hear the same thing. The last question's like, well, I had a soda. I mean, does that count? Or I had iced tea. Like, that counts towards water, doesn't it? And or coffee. And if anything, not only would it not count, I guess it's almost like a negative, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, because if you think about it, coffee is a diuretic. And a lot of people, drink coffee in the morning, and then what do they go do? They go poop. So it flushes you out, and that's a natural diuretic. You have to pee a lot. So if you drink, let's say you drink 4 ounces or an 8-ounce cup of coffee in the morning, you need to drink 16 ounces of water to balance that out. Okay. So if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, and you add coffee on top of that, then you need to add an additional 16 ounces. It's not just a gallon. You have to do that. Same thing with, carbonated beverages. Carbonation comes from CO2. CO2 in the body will deplete the oxygen levels. So if you're constantly, and then, let's just say because you're drinking like Perrier water or La Croix or something like that, you're like, I've switched from drinking sugary sodas and even the sugar-free sodas with the crap that's in those things, the fake sweeteners, the carbonation is still there. Yeah. So if you've gone from drinking 12 Cokes a day to 12 La Croix a day, you still have the carbonation. That's why you might not feel so good. You might feel tired. You might feel bloated, a little bit of brain fog. You have to supplement every can of soda that you have, again, 16 ounces of water to balance that out. And that goes in addition to the gallon of water that you should be drinking on a regular basis or daily basis anyway. So. Yeah.
And you touched on it, Nathan, just now too, with, you're mentioning about the natural flavors or artificial sweeteners and such. And people will say, well, I don't drink Coke anymore. I drink Diet Coke. And we know that might not be any more beneficial, right? Because of what we know with these artificial sweeteners and just, they call them natural flavors, but who knows what they really are, huh?
Right, exactly. And see, that's another thing that I've been researching is, if you are, if you're using some of these sweeteners, okay, some of them are better than others, but you should not be using them on a regular basis. Okay. You have these sweeteners that are 10 times, 100 times sweeter than sugar. Your body still doesn't know the difference. So it gets that little charge in the brain. Your brain releases insulin from the liver. And so then what happens is, from the pancreas. So then what happens is your body has insulin in your bloodstream. Then it causes you to now be hungry. So you might be having a Diet Coke thinking you're doing well, but your body is still going through the natural process of becoming hungry because you have all this insulin now. If you continue to keep producing all these amounts of insulin because of all these fake sweeteners, you will become what we call insulin resistant. And now your body will either be so depleted of insulin, or every time it feels that reaction, it's going to try to push out insulin. And then sooner or later, the receptors are going to be damaged and they will not attach the way they need to regular food. And then you start to notice weight gain. So you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm drinking diet sodas. I'm trying to eat better, but I'm gaining weight. It's the diet soda or the sweeteners and whatever other drinks and stuff that you're having. So sometimes it's better to have regular sugar. If I had the choice, if I'm not diabetic, if I don't have insulin resistance, if I don't have weight loss resistance, if I had a choice between a diet soda and cotton candy, I would take the cotton candy. Cotton candy, sugar. My body can metabolize sugar. If all functions are working correctly in the body, I can metabolize sugar. The body is supposed to metabolize sugar because of insulin. Insulin helps metabolize sugar. But what happens is our receptors get damaged, and then they don't know what's going on. So then we aren't able to process sugar like we should be able to. And in addition to that, our diets are bombarded with lots of sugar, lots of added sugar all day, every day. And then you can also damage your receptors too. So you've got basically, you're burning the candle at both ends. You're having sweeteners that are increasing your sweet factor in your brain. They're releasing insulin, but you're not eating, or you're not using and developing the insulin the way it's supposed to be processed. And then on the other side, you're having an abundance of sugar. I mean, the average person consumes 180 pounds of sugar a year.
Wow,
that's like consuming you or me,
Wow, that's like half a pound every day, pretty much. That's amazing.
So that's a lot of sugar. So if you really want to reverse inflammation, you really want to for weight loss, but if you really want to reverse aging process, you've got to cut that sugar back. There's plenty of natural sugar. And when I mean natural sugar, I'm talking about carrots have natural sugar.
Sure.
Food has natural sugar. You still have to monitor it. Okay. You can't just keep eating lots and lots of fruit because you're going to have the same effect. But if you need something sweet, it's better to have something that is really natural, like a piece of fruit or some carrots or something like that. You're going to get plenty of sugar throughout the day for your body to produce and use insulin correctly, that you don't need all those added sugars and additional sugars and sweeteners that can end up damaging the receptors.
Yeah, good point. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, yeah, we've talked about before how the American diet is unfortunately just, here in the South, especially too, you see it in every street corner. There's 4 different fast food restaurants competing against each other. And it's very hard to eat healthy, I guess, especially for people who don't plan their meals or aren't home organizing their, week or day of meal planning. But if they're out on the road, it definitely gets kind of tricky out there, especially what the misconceptions and myths we hear about when they're talking about whether it's Atkins, keto, and whatever else you hear. But what do you try to advise for your clients, Nathan, with just as far as good common sense, sound instruction and kind of coaching for them in terms of when they have questions like that?
Well, like you said, most fast food joints, I mean, there's fast food and quick weight loss on every street corner.
Yeah.
The problem is if you look at, let's just say, like you look at Zaxby's or Popeyes or McDonald's. So let's just take a chicken place or Chick-fil-A, right? It doesn't matter. They're all set up the same. You have chicken, which is breaded. You got some protein in your chicken. We'll give you that. But you got bread, which is starchy carb. Then you put it on a bun, which is more starchy carbs. We're definitely going to have some fries with it, which potato, more starchy carbs. And then what are you going to wash it down with? Sugary drink.
Yep.
So all you're doing in that meal, you're consuming a crap ton of calories, but all of them are fat and starchy carbs. So you're going to spike your insulin really high. Your body is not going to be able to process all of that. Plus, most people are not working out and active enough daily to burn that amount of calories and that amount of carbohydrates. So your body is storing a lot of it as fat, and you're never going to get into stored fat as a burning process. So you're always running off of blood sugar. You're constantly running off of your blood sugar. You're not using glucagon, which is the antagonistic hormone of insulin, which basically, if you're running on glucagon, you're using stored fat as fuel. So my suggestion, if you're going to go out and cheat, cheat meal, or if you're not looking to reverse chronic illness, that's a completely different prescription. But if you're somebody that just wants to lose 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, if you have a cheat meal once a week, then if you want to go eat that, that's fine. But you really need to focus on if health and longevity is your goal, then you really need to focus on what we call the rule of three, which is a lean protein, a starchy carb, and a fibrous carb. And then the fiber is the key, because if like the meal that I just explained to you, it's all starch. There's a little bit of protein from the chicken, but not really to balance out how many carbs you had, but there's no fiber. And if you really want to be healthy, if you really want a clean digestive system, if you really want a real good high cognition in your brain, you've got to increase your fiber. You have to have soluble and insoluble fiber. If you have digestive problems right now, like irritable bowel syndrome or acid reflux and stuff, then you would want more soluble fiber than insoluble. Insoluble fiber to somebody that has digestive problems is harder to digest. So you want to stay away from that in the beginning until we can kind of get some of that stuff out of there. But the average person, so you have the average person eating about 180 pounds of sugar a year, and on the same token, only getting about 16 grams of fiber a day. Women, the average, what you're supposed to get on a regular day is between 26 and 30 grams of fiber a day. And for men, it's between 38 and 42. But most people are only getting 16. So you're not, think of fiber as basically one way to really flush the system out. Right. Because fiber is not digestible, but it burns more calories during digestion. I like that because I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm trying to stay lean. So I want to burn more calories during digestion. But also, it's basically just scrubbing the colon, scrubbing the intestines, scrubbing all of the stuff out of the digestive system and coming out the other end so that I can absorb things. There was a thing when we were growing up, right? It says you are what you eat from your head down to your feet. But it's not really true, because I can eat a lot of things and not digest and absorb anything. So what we want to do is we want to be able to, we are what we eat, digest, and absorb. So that's what we want to think about. But if you're somebody that has really thin arms, really thin legs, but you have this bloated belly, you're not really fat. You have 21 feet of intestines that are basically just inflamed. They're toxic, and they're expanding in your gut. And you're really not absorbing or digesting anything. It's kind of just sitting in there and it's caking. And that's not good. So what we want to do is one natural way to start to cleanse the body is to increase your fiber. Now, take something like, and I tell this to brand new people, if you take something like MyFitnessPal and you start tracking, MyFitnessPal, the free version, you don't need to pay for anything. You start tracking, see what you're consistently eating. If you're consistently eating for the first couple of days, you start realizing, okay, I am getting about 16 to 18 grams of fiber every day. I don't recommend, if you're a guy, to go from 16 grams one day to 40 grams the next day. You're going to have some digestive issues. It's not going to be good, but over time, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, start to increase it 5 grams, 6 grams. You got to feel what, everybody's the same, but everybody's different. So you kind of have to play and see what it feels like for you. But you start adding those into every single one of your meals and taking that 38 grams of fiber, dividing it over 4 meals or 6 meals. Now you're going to start noticing the digestion. You're going to start noticing you're going to be going to the bathroom more, because if it's not coming out, it's not coming off. So, that's all stuff that I teach somebody brand new with me, that what we really want to do is sure, we'll get active, but let's clean up that nutrition. Let's clean up your digestion. Let's get you thinking better. Let's get you feeling better, because the more you feel better, the more you want to do, right? Most of the time we sit around because we don't feel good. I don't really want to move. I don't really want to do this, but if I feel better, I'm like, man, I got all this energy. I got to go do something. So let's go, and then you start noticing you're moving more. That part falls easily into place. So.
Yeah, that's good. And a lot of these, you mentioned it about quick weight loss plans. You see them everywhere, and you see commercials on TV all the time. And
Yeah.
you get people that, I'm sure you get people all the time that ask you, they got a wedding coming up, or they've got some important engagement. I want to lose 50 pounds in the next couple weeks, or something unrealistic. So, I guess it definitely makes more sense to do a reasonable, methodical kind of approach, doesn't it?
It does. And, in the beginning, it's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look, and I was talking about this back in the 90s, but now it seems to be a tag word, reverse engineering your goal. That's how, as an athlete, that's how I was taught to do my goals. And now everybody's talking about it, but not everybody really truly understands it. It's just something cool to say. You don't really know what you're saying, but we got to figure out what the main objective is. And what I don't like doing, and as I've gotten older, and I'm sure that you've probably experienced this too. When we were younger, people would say, well, I just want to lose weight, and thought, okay, that's going to be a motivation enough because somebody wants to lose weight. That's going to be their motivation. That's going to be their high priority, but it's really not. What we need to do is we need to figure out, is there another goal we can achieve? Do you want to do a race? Do you want to do something else so that we can get a little bit more emotion out of it? Because I really believe that for most people, weight loss is not a good goal. Because if you really wanted it, then you'd be doing it. So when people say, well, I'm just not motivated. Well, motivation is kind of like the spark plug in the engine. It's discipline that gets you there. Discipline is the gas. Motivation, you run out of motivation. Am I motivated every day to work out? No. But I mean, there's certain things I am motivated about. I know when I wake up in the morning, I got to go pee. So I'm motivated not to pee in the bed. Right. So I have self-control. Right. But I don't have, and I have motivation, but motivation is lacking. You have to have discipline. You either lack discipline or you have discipline, and the discipline in what you're doing. I mean, if you get off of work and you go sit in your lazy boy every day, that is a discipline. You have been disciplined to do that. So what you do is, and I don't really have clients. I don't attract clients that are starting off this slow. This is just not my ideal client. But some of the things that James Clear talks about in his Atomic Habits book is, if you really need baby steps, first thing in the morning, put your shoes by your bed, put your workout clothes by your bed, or sleep in your workout clothes, put your shoes on, just walk outside, walk back in the house. Boom, you started the habit. So, if you're really, really bad off, and I don't mean bad as in a bad way, but if you're really starting at zero and you really need, like you're unmotivated, undisciplined, start with just putting your shoes on, walking outside to the mailbox, walk back. You've done it for the day. Or, if going to the gym is going to be something new for you, put your stuff on, drive to the gym, walk in, walk out, and start that. That's the basic essence of starting a new habit. And after a while, then you'll start realizing, okay, I'm doing that, and I'm going to go stay. I'm going to go. My goal is going to be on the treadmill for 5 minutes. I'm just going to walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes, and then you get to that 5-minute point. Can I go 5 more minutes, or can I go 3 more minutes? And then by the time you're done with it, you start getting into that. You're starting that routine. You start moving. You're like, well, I'm already here. I might as well go ahead and keep going. So those are some of the little hacks that you can do to kind of switch your brain into thinking, oh, I got to go do this, to just taking baby steps. Now, the thing that I've noticed is somebody will need to take baby steps, but then they're mad or they're discouraged because they're not seeing results fast enough. You have to have, one of the reasons why most people fail to see their goals, and this is outside of the health and wellness, this is goals in general, is they have unrealistic expectations and a ridiculous timeline. For instance, like you said, I have a wedding this week and I want to lose 50 pounds. You want to lose, let me get this straight. You want to lose 50 pounds. Today's Wednesday, or today's Thursday. You have a wedding on Saturday. So you have 2 days to lose 50 pounds. Are you kidding me? Unrealistic expectations, unrealistic timeline.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to think about what you want to do. Okay, well, I want to compete in an Ironman triathlon next year. I have the date, September. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards and figure out where you need to be. And along the way through the training, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. You're going to start doing stuff. So sometimes if you put a really good timeline, a deadline on it, but it fires you up and you have a purpose for doing it, passion will come and go too. But if you have a real purpose as to why you're doing it, then that can help you continue on, the goal. And I use that same principle when I'm helping coaching clients for business, mental toughness training. So once you learn that, it applies to every area of your life. If you can be successful in one aspect of your life, relationships, everything, you can easily apply that to the same, to different areas of your life in the same kind of strategic pattern.
Mm-hmm. That totally makes sense, Nathan. Absolutely. And as far as for programs that you offer, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on, and as we kind of transitioning from summer to fall, like what programs are going on that you and Steph are working on and that you're offering?
Sure. We still have, it's been real successful since I started it in my gym in 2006, the 21-day, we used to call it Take 21 because it takes 21 days. But now that it's online, and it's a standard programs, it's the 21-day body transformation challenge.com. So when you go to that site, the first thing you're going to see is my 15 keys to unlocking your nutrition. And you can get that for free. So you can just put in your first name, you put in your email address, and you can get that. And those 15 keys are what we really work on with brand new clients and getting them dialed in to help them unlock their weight loss, unlock chronic illness, help them get their health back. And then, the next page is the 21-day program. It's a fantastic program. It's good for beginners. It's good for people that were really in shape, but kind of need kind of maybe falling off the wagon or slow down a little bit. And it's also good for athletes and people that are active, because every once in a while we push ourselves so hard over and over and over again, we forget that we need to have the peaks and the valleys. So the 21-day program is a great a 3-week or 21-day program for somebody that is an athlete that needs to kind of back off a little bit and kind of rest, heal, and recover, and then ramp it up. And then you'll notice that next time that you ramp your schedule back up, you'll get more out of your training than you would if you just kept training hard. So that's one. The other program that we have that's become, it kind of hit or miss. It really depends on the media, is our self-defense program. So we have several self-defense seminars coming up. We have a couple for some corporations. We have a couple for some, one of them in September, and I don't know what the abbreviation for NCL stands for. I don't know, but it's a bunch of 10th grade girls. They're about 15, 16 years old. And we're teaching them, 10 things that you're doing today that can get you into trouble tonight. One of the moms said, we need some dating tips. And I was like, I cannot believe your 15-year-old daughter's dating, but besides, so dating do's and don'ts, and really teaching them how to be more aware and get out of situations before they even, before their safety is in jeopardy. But then also, we all have these situations, these times in our lives that we cannot avoid, that we are at risk of being attacked. One of those is always walking to the car. Maybe depending on where you're running, if you're working out, maybe you're on a trail, there's always areas of opportunity for attackers. So what we help people do is we show you kind of guidelines on creating a target package. And the target package is you are the target. So what we do is we go through your day, we go through your weekend, we go through your time at work and show you all the vulnerabilities, so that when you are vulnerable, that's when your awareness is most heightened, and not to do things that are going to get you more in trouble or make you at risk of being a victim. So that's a lot of fun. I really like doing that part because it really opens people's eyes. And we get testimonials back, and people will say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe, just a week after taking that course, this happened. And I was completely able to just walk away and get out of the situation before anything happened, because of the fact that I was thinking, oh, this is one of those times that he's talking about. So that's another, especially as school is starting. Some people are still looking for weight loss. They still want to, as the one of the goals for 2022 was, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I want to be healthier, more active. So we're really, we're seeing more people want that. But then also back to school time, kids are getting older, and self-defense is also a priority for a lot of people as well.
Excellent. Well, that's great, Nathan. I'm glad, again, such wonderful programs to offer there. And this 30 minutes flew by so quickly, like it always does.
It always does.
Here. Yeah, I greatly appreciate your time. This was very informative. Before we let you go, though, let's go ahead and please plug the best ways to contact you directly and learn more about Trinity. And if they have any other questions to ask you and Steph, please.
Sounds good. All right. Well, like I said before, you can go to 21daybodytransformationchallenge.com. You can check out our nutrition program there. You can look at my website. It's nathanjnowak.com. And then if you want to join our community, we have a Facebook group on Facebook, and it's facebook.com/Trinity Fitness Group. And you'll see the red N, and that's the group. So you just jump in there, answer a few questions, and then you get in that group. We have a lot of great information in there, a lot of great people. And we've got same thing. We've got beginners, we've got intermediate, and we have professional athletes in there as well. And it's a great supportive community to get you started on some of our programs.
Excellent. All right. Very good, Nathan. Well, we'll put that on the screen here momentarily as we fade to black. And always a pleasure, Nathan. And I can't thank you enough for your time. Please tell Steph we said hello.
I will. Thank you. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.